It's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. You got the guy in an abdominal stretch, and you grab the rope for extra leverage, and you get a concussion from the angry Russian. You get paid with a diet soft beverage on the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope, and you bang your head on the ring apron. Why do you do that? That's when you feel like a big dope. They're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Clap, 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 clap. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Whoa, yay. We are bushwhacking our way through another episode. I think it's episode 192 of the hardest part of the ring. Where the hell have I been with this? I took like 2 months off. I haven't done one of these since the Survivor Series, I don't think. And, well, Bob, where'd you go? I thought you were going to do some SmackDown. And you know what? I'll tell you. I've watched every SmackDown. Just about. I watched every Raw for sure. And I've taken notes. And I would look at my notes. And I would look at my audio program here and go, I have no desire to talk about what I just saw. And it's been that way for a while. So I realized that I was 191 episodes in, and you know what, Bob? At least make 200. At least make that, and then maybe you'll feel like doing more. Things have changed. I'm not going to go over everything that's changed in the wrestling landscape lately. Vince McMahon is back, sort of. He's probably going to sell it. For a while, people thought he was going to sell it to Saudi Arabia, but now he's not, or we don't know. Nobody knows. Is it going to go to Disney? Is ESPN, NBC? Who's going to buy the WWE? I don't know. I don't know. I might have to sneeze in a minute, so bear with me there. But I thought, hang on. I did my sneezing. I did it. I paused the machine, and I did my sneeze. If you please, like an indoor breeze, make your knees freeze, Daddy. All the way live, baby doll. Living on the edge of a lightning bolt. Hardest part of the ring. Anyway, I figured, what the hell, let's just jump into it. Let's see what's going on. This was a special Raw. It was the 30-year anniversary. 30 freaking years of this program. That means 34 years, most of my life, I've been watching stupid fucking wrestling. That's what I've been doing with it. Okay. Hardest part of the ring, the Hulu edition. Hulu edition, not limited enough commercial interruptions. And before we say anything else, you know something, Bob Squad? Sometimes, in the middle of the day, I get a little parched. Sometimes I just need a nice effervescent, bubbly soft drink just to get myself through the afternoon. And lately, what I've been enjoying is Sprite Zero. It has the same great lemon lime soda taste that you've all come to know and love from regular Sprite, but none of the sugar, none of the calories. And you go to Coca-Cola.com/Sprite/Zero, enter promo code Bob Squad. Nothing happens. Let me take a sip. Oh, that is good Sprite Zero. Oh, only the best drink it. Okay. 30 years of Monday Night Raw, not limited enough commercial interruption. What's happening? Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart opened the show. I'm not kidding. Actually, this is what's crazy. Because the show does open with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. And they do the opener. They say hello. And the show opens again with Hulk Hogan, but he does not slam Andre the Giant. Instead, he stands next to the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. And it wouldn't be Hulk Hogan if he didn't lie the second he opened his mouth. And he did. He opened his mouth and said he's been here since day one on WWE Monday Night Raw. That's not true. He returned, I want to say, leading up to WrestleMania 9. So, February or March of 1993. He was not there in the first few episodes in January 93. So that is false. Hulk Hogan lied to you. He likes to do that. Anyway, Hogan really just talked for like a minute, which is rare. He didn't milk the hellos and the hand waving and all that stuff. He force-fed... He didn't say brother once. I noticed this. There were no brothers in a Hulk Hogan promo. Maybe that's why he just looked naked without it. And we've seen him naked. Hulk Hogan says the then, now, forever line because someone in the back told him the fans like it when they keep saying that over and over. And that was that. I heard Jimmy Hart is going to be 80 years old soon. How about that? That's really old. It's not young. It's the opposite. And that's it. And he just said, "What you gonna do when something happens?" I don't know. I'm Hulk Hogan. Goodbye. And then he left. And then we start with this wonderful segment. This wonderful. It went long. It was. I think this was, in many ways better than some of the long "This Is Your Life" segments that they've gotten carried away with, a la Foley and The Rock years ago, and then everything else that followed it. No, this was very good. The trial of Sami Zayn. Roman Reigns and the Bloodline and Paul Heyman and the Usos and Solo Sikoa have Sami Zayn on trial for whether or not Sami has turned his back on the Bloodline. And I came to realize, as much as I hate wrestling weddings, I love wrestling kangaroo courts. Because this was preposterous. Paul Heyman was the prosecution. And he has his exhibits on the big screen of why he thinks Sami is a traitor and he can't trust him. And then Sami gets hurt. He says he won't even defend himself. He's not going to bother. Roman Reigns orders Solo to do away with Sami before Solo can give Sami the Samoan spike. Out of nowhere, Jey Uso, the guy who hated Sami most of all this whole time, he blocks Solo's arm. And he decides to be the defense attorney for Sami Zayn, and he shows all the examples on the screen where Sami Zayn helped out the Bloodline and sacrificed himself for the good of the group. And so Roman, annoyed, says, "Okay, Sami, you're not guilty for now, but I don't want to see you till Saturday," which means perhaps we're getting a Friday SmackDown without Sami Zayn, I don't know. Or he'll show up and anger the tribal chief. I do not know the answer. But either way, they gave us basically the most intriguing thing about the Royal Rumble. Not who's going to win the men's Rumble or the women's Rumble, or can Kevin Owens beat Roman Reigns at the Rumble? No, he can't. No. The most intriguing thing at the Royal Rumble is Roman Reigns saying, "Sami, at the Rumble, you will find out your true test." Now, I want to know what that test is. Is the test you have to win the Rumble? Is the test you have to put Kevin Owens away and make sure I keep my championship? What is it? I don't know. I don't know the answer. But I want to know, and that's why now I'm looking forward to the Rumble, so this is good. This was very long, very, very long, and supposedly the cage match between Becky and Bayley every segment had its time cut following this, and that was like a big main event, that cage match, and the people online are very upset, as they tend to be. I don't know the answer for that. But the Usos stick around. They're here for like the first 40 minutes of this show because everyone but the Usos leave, and then the Judgment Day, or Sami Zayn stays with the Usos now. You see how, I love it, it's so genius how it's divided. Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa hate Sami. Both the Usos love Sami, and Roman is annoyed by Sami, but he's contemplating keeping him around because of his usefulness. So, there's the divide. Ultimately, we know it's not going to last, but how? Sometimes it's okay to know what's going to happen. They're gonna beat the crap out of Sami Zayn, clearly, at some point, but how and why, under what circumstances? What will go wrong? Will Sami bow up to him first, or after, or during? We don't know. The Usos wrestled Dominic and Damian Priest of Judgment Day for the championships. Strange match, two heel tag teams, but basically the Bloodline is the most overact in the company, and Judgment Day is a fairly good, actually a very good heat-getting act on Raw, mainly because of Dominic. So Finn Balor is still selling the ribs from a few weeks ago. And this was good long-term storytelling, and I'll tell you why. They do a thing where Jimmy gets hurt, and Adam Pearce, the commissioner or whatever, general manager, whatever the hell, says, "Hey, if you guys can't wrestle, you forfeit the match, you lose the championship." And Sami convinces him, "No, let me jump in." And which really doesn't make sense. Why, if one guy on a team gets hurt, why would you let a fresh man jump in? Now the team has the advantage. But Adam Pearce says, "Well, I did it for Judgment Day like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I guess I have to do it for you too." And now Sami Zayn is in, and the people are hot, and it's two heel tag teams, and the people are still going crazy, making noise. Basically, Sammy is the accidental babyface in all of this, and they want Sammy to win or help the Usos keep their championships. And there's all these scary moments where it looked like the Judgment Day successfully cheated and has Sammy beat. And I even moved a few times, like, what, oh no, oh no. So everyone's popping on the 2 7/8 pinfalls here, and it's really getting fun. And eventually, Sammy hits one half of the 1D, the Usos finishing maneuver, formerly the Dudley's maneuver. You probably already know that if you're listening to this. And Sammy gets I think Sammy got the pinfall. Yeah, he beat Dominic, I want to say. Yeah, they wouldn't have pinned Priest like that. Yeah. And the people were thrilled, and they show Roman in the back, and he says, okay, he lives for now. Pardon me, I need some more Sprite Zero. And this is the end of the bloodline for this television program. So they are out. Now keep in mind, I'm watching the Hulu edition. So I have not seen any of the backstage segments with Alundra Blaze, Ron Simmons, The $1 Million Man, IRS. I think that's it. Godfather. Yeah, JBL. Well, he's been on TV for a few weeks anyway, managing Baron Corbin. So, yeah, I haven't seen any of those. I did see pics online where they were at some bar and the Alpha Academy was playing poker, and DDP was there as well. That's right, DDP. Selling his yoga. That ain't yoga. It's not your mama's yoga. Bang! One vertebrae at a time. I like my DDP yoga. Okay. Huge breath. What was I saying? I forgot. It sucks when there's one of me. I think that's why I think there's another thing too. I'm just talking that, there's no one to bounce off of and mess around with. There's you guys, but I try, Chris and Mark, I really do. What were we talking about? LA Knight. I love LA Knight. I'm so happy. This guy's wonderful. Carries himself like a superstar. Vince is going to hate him because he's not tall, but doesn't matter. Looks great. Comes out, cuts a great promo. Says if he was any more of a man, there'd be 2 of them. Brilliant. Love it, love it, love it. Brilliant. I'm talking like our friend Stu from Universal Toy Collector. Brilliant, I say, because I watch him, and that's the thing. You watch anything or listen to anything, and you start talking like that person. So you pick these things up. But I think thanks to you guys, I'm always now I'm putting I'm putting extra vowels in my words now that I didn't usually because of you guys, like color and favorite. They all have views in them now. Like what the hell? I'm gonna start saying progress too because of you guys. Anyway. LA Knight talks some shit on all the old timers after talking shit on Bray Wyatt. And The Undertaker's dong hits. That sounds funny, lol. The Undertaker's dong hits LA Knight right in the face. The people go crazy for his dong. And then his dong, then they're playing Kid Rock, and they're still going crazy despite the fact that Kid Rock is playing. Because that means for the first time in 20 years-ish, 19 years, The Undertaker's the American badass biker guy who we haven't seen come back in a long time. So he rode his motorcycle around the ring. Very nice. And LA Knight gets in the Taker's face, and Undertaker does not say a word this entire time. LA Knight decides, he backs off. He doesn't want to fight the Undertaker after all. He goes halfway up the ramp. The lights go out. It's Bray Wyatt, and he's right behind him, and he's holding a lamp. And then LA Knight is back and forth, and it's spooky, and LA Knight goes back into the ring. The Taker has a chokehold on LA Knight, and he throws LA Knight into Bray Wyatt. Remember, Bray and Undertaker have a stare down. There is a past. Taker throws LA Knight into Bray Wyatt, who gives Bray Wyatt LA Knight receives Bray Wyatt's finishing maneuver, courtesy of Bray Wyatt, as one would, and he disappears. LA Knight does. LA Knight wanders off. He gets beat up. And Bray Wyatt and Taker have a bit of a face-off. You think they're going to fight. And Taker walks up and he says something in his ear. And he rides off in a motorcycle. And Wyatt has this look on his face. Like someone just passed the torch to him. Almost literally because he's holding a lamp. And a lot of people online are speculating what The Undertaker said in Bray Wyatt's ear. And the answer, little insider information I got. He quoted the line in Kindergarten Cop where Detective John Kimball, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, says, "Put the cookie down now! Who told you could eat my cookies?" So that is what The Undertaker said to Bray Wyatt. A lot of people don't know that. I'm kidding. That isn't what The Undertaker actually said to him. If you really want to know, and he has to have a little inside source here. What The Undertaker said to him was, boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. How about that? How about that's also from Kindergarten Cop? That's all The Undertaker says when you hang out with him. That's pretty much, that is a lie. That is a lie. That is a lie. What The Undertaker actually said to Bray Wyatt, for real this time, I'm not going to waste your time. He said, "Who is your daddy and what does he do?" Okay. I don't know what he said. What the fuck should I know? So that was fun. Becky and Bayley have a cage match, but no, they don't. Kai and Sky are out ringside. And yes, the Jim Cornette podcast is referring to them as Kai and Sky. I was doing it first, but no one listens to my thing, so that's okay. That doesn't matter. Kai and Sky attack Becky, and they beat Becky up on the inside, and they hit her with the cage and throw her into the cage. And they do a Io Sky of Kai and Sky, does a moonsault onto Becky, and they injure her, and then they stand on top of the cage and celebrate, and they leave her laying, and Adam Pearce comes back and he yells. And that was it. There was no cage match. They just went right to the whatever match they were probably going to do. They probably just canned it and said, you know what, just get heat on Becky then and finish it later. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of these Raw main events is actually just another cage match, or a first cage match with Bayley and Becky. That makes, I feel like they're going to be like, yeah, we're just going to redo it next week or the week after, or whatever the hell. Maybe next week it'll be the main event, just send them home happy kind of a deal. DX is out. Ugh. I'm just bored by it. DX returns like every couple of months, it seems, and I love Waltman, and Road Dogg's there, he's having fun. There's no Billy Gunn, which is always kind of weird. And it's really juvenile. Everyone's 55 and wearing leather. Triple H is wearing his leather jacket, and they're about to say, "Let's get ready to suck it," and that makes no sense. Or yikes. And Kurt Angle's there, and they wonder why Kurt Angle's there, and he just sheepishly says, "I want to be in DX." And, this bad comedy went back and forth, but Philly was eating it up for most part. It was long. It was just so long. Imperium interrupts them, and they all take turns getting in Gunther's face, and they all decide they don't want to fight him, which is good that they weren't being badasses and making Gunther look dumb. But Seth Rollins comes out, and he doesn't say anything. They just sing a song, and then Street Profits come out, and Triple H says, "Why is everyone looking at me? What do you want me to do? This booking thing is harder than it looks." And everybody laughs. How inside baseball, he's breaking more fourth walls than the Kool-Aid Man. And then Street Profits, Teddy Long from SmackDown history comes out, and everyone's happy, and he says, "Let's make it a 6-man tag team match, playa." And they do. It's Street Profits and Seth versus the 3 guys in Imperium. They have a fun back and forth, pretty quick 6-man tag match. And Seth pins Giovanni, the Italian guy. Good? Great. Okay. Then we see Cody's package. Cody's package was really longer than I thought it was going to be. But I've been staring at Cody's package for like a while now. And we've seen enough of Cody's package pre-taped. And now we want to see Cody's, we want to see how the package unravels at the Royal Rumble. So we'll see if Cody Rhodes does win the Royal Rumble after all. And if staring at his package this last couple of weeks was worth it. The main event is Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory in a no DQ match. I didn't even know this. Theory wins the damn thing. How? Because Brock Lesnar returns. Is this the most hot-shotted over Raw of all time? My God. Brock Lesnar returns, F5 on Lashley, then he F5's Theory onto Lashley, who pins him, and on my Hulu, the pinfall happened seconds before the thing went off the air. So I'm looking at the countdown, I'm like, there's 2 minutes left of this shit. What is happening? And then you hear the Lesnar music, and people lose their minds, of course. Lesnar comes out in denim just like a cowboy. And I guess he still hates Bobby Lashley for some reason. I don't know why. But who the hell knows? I don't know. Is Lashley and Lesnar, are they going to have a singles match at the Rumble? Are they both just going to be in it? I don't know. Nobody knows. Is Lashley going to win the Royal Rumble? Excuse me. Is Lesnar going to win the Royal Rumble and wrestle Roman at WrestleMania? That's just literally what happened last year. Don't put it past them. Don't put it past them. That's the hardest part of the ring. No, it felt good to do that. I'm a little rusty. You can tell. Trying to find ways to make it interesting, and I failed. I didn't find any ways to make this that interesting. But my opinions. I see online a ton of people saying two things. Sami Zayn should be the one to beat Roman for the championship, and Jey Uso should. I don't agree with either. And as entertaining as the entire Bloodline Sami Zayn thing has been these past several months, I can't see what a Jey Uso title reign would look like unless it's for a couple of days, and he only wrestles Roman. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And I can't see WrestleMania ending with Jey Uso or even Sami Zayn holding the thing up. I just don't buy it. I think Sami Zayn has to come really, really close and then get murdered, basically. The thing is, Cody is the most credible, viable, believable person to win. There is the danger of them seeing Cody as the hand-picked guy and the audience turning on him as quickly as he comes back. I think it can be avoided if Cody can cut the promos he was cutting right before he got injured last June or whatever it was. If Cody can just, because he's very good at not sounding dumb and protecting himself as a babyface. I do think if Cody and Roman go at WrestleMania, which is most likely what's going to happen, the Sami Zayn thing has to be settled one way or another. The will he, won't he thing with Sami has to be over. Sami has to be on one side or the other. Ultimately, I believe Sami and Kevin Owens wrestle and defeat the Usos at WrestleMania. It's like the consolation match. They're not really in the main event. They take their chunk out of the bloodline. And these two, of course, they've wrestled each other at WrestleMania, and now they team at WrestleMania. It would be a thing. Wait, they did team at WrestleMania. They wrestled Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan once, ages 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever the hell it was. 2016? Is that right? No. Had to be after that. 2017, 18? Who cares? Anyway, I can see them winning the tag team championships from the Usos at WrestleMania. That could be a big match on the first night, and then Cody and Roman on the second. If you want to do it that way, I don't know. But that makes sense to me anyway. There you go. I do, but either way, yeah, you can't have will he, won't he with Sami in a bloodline if Cody's going to chase, because people are going to turn on Cody because Sami's so lovable and such an underdog and everything else. And the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view or a special event, premiere event, whatever, in late February, I think, is in Montreal, and that's Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens' country. I mean, I think Sami Zayn versus Roman is the obvious fun right before Mania main event where no title's going to change, but you just need something watchable. I say this every year, it's the toughest pay-per-view of the year to do. Something has to happen, but nothing can actually happen. It's impossible. I don't get mad at them when nothing happens on that show. I just kind of go, oh, okay. Just get us happy, just get us excited for Mania. That's all we really ask, I guess. Yeah, so if Cody's coming back, there's also the Cody-Seth problem. Because now Seth is a good guy, but Cody should want to kill Seth. Because Seth took the sledgehammer and made him purple and all that crap. So why wouldn't he want to kill Seth? But people like singing Seth's songs. He really can't do that. So if it were me, if I had my druthers, I'd say just send Cody to SmackDown and keep him there. And deal. Don't ignore the Seth issue forever, but maybe ignore it until after Roman, and then you could settle it. But you can't be splitting the audience right now. You can't be splitting the audience with your top babyface on his way to challenge at WrestleMania. That's not the time to split the crowd. Let's see what happens. That is a bad time to do that. maybe that's something you do like a year after. Like, okay, we'll see what happens. But that's my take on that. So Cody is the probable winner, but I'm hoping when Cody and Roman start interacting, the Sammy thing has to be. I guess it can't really be resolved, but the Sammy thing has to be set. He has to be out of the bloodline by then. Let's put it that way. Because as long as Sammy's in the bloodline, there's trouble. So, and that's where their conflict is. Sammy has to be out of the bloodline at some point during the Royal Rumble show. We need some non-closure because we'll have the match in Montreal probably. That's kind of what I mean. If they didn't, good God, why wouldn't you? But that's what it's looking like right there. I have no idea what Becky and Bayley are up to, or what's going to go. I think Becky's stuck for opponents. Charlotte's going to be stuck for opponents. They can't keep wrestling each other forever. I'm really hoping we just don't see Becky and Charlotte and Roman and Brock and everything else this year, like Seth and somebody. I don't know. Brock and Gunther is what everyone's whispering about, but I don't. We've seen no signs to go there. But also, that means if Brock keeps showing up on SmackDown, guess what? SmackDown is so loaded with stars, and Raw is hurting even more. So I don't know the answers to all that. But either way, I'm so glad The Undertaker told Bray Wyatt it's not a tumor. Because otherwise, Bray might have gotten so excited that he jumped through the ropes, fell and hurt himself on an apron, which you don't know is the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you get trapped in a headlock and you're worried about smearing your lip gloss. You shoot her off and take the shoulder block. Do the drop down, give her a hip toss on the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da.